is.
I'm Kelly.
Nice to meet you, Kelly.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. I was just sitting here is good?
Yeah,
Right.
there's great. How you doing today?
I am well. I'm really enjoying this rain. This is
Yeah.
such nice to have this place actually. Something come out of the sky.
Yeah, nice change
Other
of
than
pace.
sun. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I like your outfit. Very
thank you.
dapper.
I appreciate it. I have to try to figure out to match the socks. I look like Where's Waldo, but
Oh yeah, a little bit. Not too much. Still classy.
oh, thank you.
Yeah. So, what brings you in today?
What brings me in today? It's kind of something I've been really fighting with most of my life, not really realizing I was fighting it.
Yeah.
I'm really, really hard on myself.
Okay.
Part of me really thinks that, without really acknowledging it, I was able to, or not able to, but I was trying to help Christ with grace. And so I was to say, I gave him my sin to deal with, years ago, and now every so often I've been running back to him and grabbing that sin and trying to carry it, help carry the weight.
Yeah.
And it's just been totally destroying me and totally making me think how much of a failure I am, and just really downer. It's really hard to move forward when you feel like you can't go much further than you actually are. And so I kind of want to try and find some steps to get out of that spot.
Yeah. That sounds like a really discouraging spot.
Let me tell you, it is pretty discouraging. So
what made you realize that was happening?
I actually taken a class here at Simpson,
Mm-hmm.
and Dr. Giovannetti was talking about grace and how we're able to do good out of the outflow of our hearts. When Christ pours into us His love, that's when we're able to say, return and do good things. And that's kind of started my thought on really thinking much more about the concept of grace, because I have the Sunday school version of grace and the memorized Awanas version, and but I never really actually made it mine. And so this is when I was really started thinking about what it actually entails, and there's a couple of times just being brought to my knees, realizing that it's really difficult to do it on my own.
Yeah, big realization.
Yeah, I'm such a little man.
So before it was kind of an impersonal grace, but now it's becoming more personal to you? Was it more distant before?
I feel like my high school year, I was able to really feel like I could do it my own. Like I felt like I was pulling my weight. I was able to do all these really cool classes, and I was working for a really big goal. And then that was kind of what at church I was the good Christian kid, and so people look up to me. People would pat me on the back and like, I'm glad you're here, kind of thing. And so it just really helped instill in me that I was good. I was doing good.
Yeah.
And then coming to Simpson, when so to say everyone's on that same page, and there's a lot more of, if you do something that's different than the mix, then you kind of look down upon.
Huh.
It's a really discouraging, and just kind of feeling like I'm the bottom of the rung rather than the top of the rung. Mm-hmm. And so that dirt, so to say, has been brought to the top, and I'm realizing I'm not such a powerhouse as I thought it was.
Wow.
So.
And the Simpson community made you realize that? Is that what you said?
I mean, probably it wasn't. I'm not gonna blame them, but I mean,
right, yeah.
Definitely made me think more about I'm not special. So.
Let's say more about that.
Being in Sunday school, I was, my parents were pretty involved in the church, and so I was always there. I was able to kind of knew the right answers.
Right.
The first, and I knew my Bible pretty well, and so I felt pretty good,
Yeah.
But when I came here, it was like that was the standard, and there was other people who had deeper theology than I, and deeper understandings of disciplines, and so that kind of really kind of threw me off. And the first year I didn't really notice it as much. When I got back from basic training, then I had some time just to kind of really be shut out into the world, and so I picked back some habits that I probably would have never considered when I was a kid. And so coming to Simpson, it was like didn't seem people really talked about their problems. Everyone was pretty perfect, and so I saw myself very clearly, and so I realized that I wasn't very special, or good for that matter.
So so it sounds like you were in the minor leagues, so to say, like when you were in your Sunday school.
Oh yeah.
And then moved to the majors where everybody's kind of the pros, and then you feel like you weren't anything special.
I would definitely say that, and I have a bit of an issue that if I'm not the best, then I try.
Yeah.
And so.
I kind of thought that when you said you came back from basic training, I was like, oh, military mindset have to be really good at things. Okay.
So that's definitely a good way of equating it, just saying that I was top of my minor league, but now I'm bottom of major league, so.
So would you say it's a humbling experience or more of a discouraging?
It's probably definitely been more of a discouraging.
Okay.
Yeah, much more discouraging. I think humility, I'd be able to sort of say keep my head above the water and be like, wow, I need to learn more. But instead it's been, wow, why am I doing this? They have these spiritual giants, and why should I try and fall after these people? And so kind of where I found myself.
Okay. And it sounds like you feel like this isn't a problem for anybody else.
Well, I mean, if I want to be realistic about it, I'm sure tons of other people have the same problem.
Yeah.
When I'm down low, I'm convinced I'm the only one with this problem.
Yes, that happens. Yeah. So when you're down low, what kind of thoughts are running through your mind?
That's a hard time getting up. I like to picture myself and sort of say pull myself out and put myself in a different atmosphere, and so I picture myself on this battlefield, and we're supposed to go forward and be followers of Christ, and I feel like I see myself just falling in this mud and I just can't get myself up. Then I want to be able to pull my own weight and so go the extra distance that I don't have to really rely on other people to help me out. And so it's just discouraging to see that I've fallen so many times, I've gotten so dirty, and yet it's just discouraging having, messed up so many times.
Yeah.
So
when you say messed up, you don't mind me asking, what kind of examples are you thinking about?
Big things like having a regular scripture time and feeling like, because I'll sometimes fall in and out of like a deep relationship with Christ. It seems like I'm really strong for a couple weeks, and then the next weeks I'm just a little busier doing some homework, and then I'll my devotion time is a little sped up, so it's not as in depth. I'm not taking as much out of it. Compromise my some of my standards I'll do, and I make some joking when I can't, when I shouldn't be joking, and saying things I probably should, saying things that are more demeaning to other people than are uplifting and stuff. It's kind of like having that dirt just pile up, and then realizing, maybe I don't feel appropriate to come and talk to Christ tonight. I'm gonna step back and
clean yourself up a little bit.
I'm gonna clean myself up a little bit. So it's been a semi-recurring theme, cleaning myself up.
Yeah. So you're struggling a little bit with the guilt of not making like your spiritual disciplines a priority.
Mm-hmm.
And also you don't feel like when that happens and you feel guilty, you don't feel like almost accepted by Christ. Like you're not presentable, and you need to fix yourself up before you can talk to Him.
Yeah. Well, I won't immediately admit that. Sometimes. Yeah. I'll admit that.
Okay. So, right now you'll.
Yeah, I'll admit that. I feel pretty confident that's the case.
Okay.
So
have you tried? What have you tried to kind of encourage yourself in the past?
Try taking off the focus off myself sometimes, and just be kind of realizing it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about what Christ has done, and for a while, and then I'll just slide right back into that whole self-demeaning thoughts, and and so that's kind of, and then it's kind of builds on top of itself, feeling, well, I was doing so great, and I had this problem a month ago, and now I'm in the same rut again, and hasn't helped. So, that kind of answer the question.
A little bit,
okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, humor me for a second, and say, do you have a good group of friends at Simpson? Would you say?
If not at Simpson, if not at Simpson, I'll have a small group,
of Christian friends.
Mm-hmm.
So say one of your friends comes up to you and they're having the same issue, saying like, I feel so guilty about, I haven't been reading my Bible, and I feel like everyone else has a great spiritual life and I don't.
Mm-hmm.
What would your automatic response be to your friend?
So you're doing there. Automatic response. I would tell them about how we are incapable of, so to say, caring for our own selves. This burden has already been taken off us, and we had just all we have to do is just get up and sort of say, rejoice for what's been done, merely focusing on Christ and powers, rather than personal ability. So different parts of Scripture where it talks about how Christ has paid it all, and that we are no longer responsible for what we've done, and and that's probably where I'd take it.
Yeah. So it's nothing that they can do to accept the grace,
mm-hmm.
or to be given grace, like it's already been taken care of.
It's already been taken care of.
Okay. So, if that's the case,
mm-hmm.
What stops you from thinking that that's the same case for you?
Because I'm special. Well, I can't be special a good way, I'll be special in a bad way.
Okay, yeah.
No. If you want the textbook answer, there's nothing different. It's kind of the biggest issue for me is being able to get up and not allow myself to stay down, but knowing and rejoicing in the grace that I have.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
definitely can probably remember that more often when I'm feeling down.
Yeah, it's hard when it's in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just kind of thinking back to our session we just had, do you think that this is something you can try to do when you're having those thoughts? Like, what would I be a little more objective and think, what would I tell my friend that's asking me?
Mm-hmm. Actually, one thing I really realized it's kind of helped sometimes, being able just to write down my own, the knowledge of, like what I just told my friend who had the issue.
Right.
It's kind of writing that letter out to myself.
Yeah.
And kind of like declaring the promises that God has made, and the affirmation that Christ is really taking care of it all, and just especially typing that out kind of really gives me a sense of peace.
Yeah. And
even though it's maybe peace for a day and a half, that was really helped me in certain those cases.
Okay.
So I might try doing that a little more often.
Yeah. So you like to write it down. That helps you.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah.
So with that, until our next session, do you think it would be feasible to not only write down what is true, but also write down the thoughts that you're having that are negative? So if you write those down first and kind of admit to yourself that that's what you're thinking, because before it sounded like, well, admit it right now, but maybe not. So if you are having those thoughts, quickly write down what you just heard in your mind or whatever is running through, and then replace it with what gives you the peace, the truth that counteracts the lie.
Okay. So you want me to bring that into you, or
yeah,
just,
maybe
okay.
keep a journal for the next week and,
Okay.
and see if that gives you peace of mind, and if it doesn't, then we'll change something and
Okay.
try something else.
Yeah, definitely.
Does that sound okay?
Sounds simple.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So I'll see you next week.
Sounds good.
Sound good? Okay. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
I'll see you later.
All right.
Woohoo!